Are you ready? It is time for another episode of Broad Street and Beyond, where everything Philly sports at Central PA is in play. We leave those New York sports in the penalty box. And now, here's Chase and JT.
And we are back on Broad Street and Beyond. It is the podcast. The band is all back together, of course. Back with my co-host, JT. How you been, JT?
I'm good, my friend. I'm just, I'm a little verklempt. I'm a little verklempt here with my boy Stout behind us.
Yeah, I see that,
We'll
man.
get to
We're
that.
we're all in mourning. We're definitely going to get to that here momentarily. We got a lot of sports to catch up on of the sports that we missed here in the past couple of weeks, but we are so glad you were here for another episode of Broad Street and Beyond, the latest episode, of course, catching you up on all the Central PA sports and also Philly sports, all the major sports there, Baltimore, Pittsburgh as well. We'll throw them into the mix. We don't talk that New York stuff, so we leave New York up in New York. We don't mess with them.
Yeah, get out of here with that. You know what? I have enough friends and former coworkers that are Yankees fans and Rangers fans, and I don't want to hear any crap. I deal with that enough.
Man, you got to drop them in a second. I don't have any New York friends, or I don't associate with New York people at all.
I'm a likable guy. I'm a likable guy.
You
so
are.
I gather them from all corners of the sports globe.
Yeah, all walks of life. We're so glad to be back, though, with you here on Broad Street and Beyond, the podcast. So let's begin with the three questions. We didn't forget about the three questions for JT. Let's get him warmed up here since we've been gone for a little while. The first question, JT, best remedy for the cold weather that we've been having?
Warm weather.
That's a good one. I like that.
Right?
It won't be here for probably another month and a half.
Warm weather beats cold weather.
Yeah, it certainly does. It certainly does.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're not out of it as of yet. Of course, we got a cold weekend coming up here in Central PA again. Of course, the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend. Which halftime show are you going to watch, JT? Is it going to be Bad Bunny, Turning Point USA, or just a good time to hit the bathroom?
Good time to hit the bathroom. I've never been. This honestly has nothing to do with Bad Bunny. I've never been a big halftime show guy. Especially the last couple years as the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl more. That's usually a time for me to kind of decompress because I'm so tense. And I don't really. It's just not. It's not a thing for me. Never has been.
And you know what? The Eagles are still the Super Bowl champions until somebody gets crowned on Sunday. Let's keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, this is true. Still the defending champs.
That's right. Third question for you, buddy. Who has the better mascot, the Patriots or the Seahawks?
I will say I don't know what the mascots look like.
Really?
I guess I'll say the Seahawks mascot. Yeah. Like they're mascots that roam around the stadium and get people fired up.
Yeah,
they have mascots.
Yeah, like the Philly Fanatic, man. Yeah, they have both. Patriot guy's pretty built, man. He's built like a rock. He's got some muscles to him.
Oh no, I've never taken notice. I don't know.
Off guard.
Is it the Patriots guy? Is he on steroids? Is that mascot
very well
on
could be.
steroids?
Yeah, he didn't get banned yet for a game or anything this year, but he could be.
Okay. Well, I like my mascots who do it clean, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks mascot.
Seattle.
I think he does. I think he does it more by the book.
Yeah, the bird is always clean, man. The bird is always clean. All right, JT, if you're warmed up, you're ready to go here, buddy, for another episode of Broughton Street and Beyond?
Let's do it.
All right, let's kick it off. We're going to go right to baseball, which, of course, I'm sporting today. I can't wait for pitchers and catchers, of course, to report next week, a week away until pitchers and catchers report down to Clearwater, Florida. A lot of questions here for the Philadelphia Phillies, JT, going into this season, and a lot of questions need to be answered as well. Is this team better than the team we had last year, or is this team a little worse off going into spring training than we were last year?
I'm kind of really in the middle with this team. I doesn't seem like they're any better. We'll wait and see. I guess really the X factor is going to be, what do they get out? Garcia, does he turn out to be a huge defensive upgrade over Nick Castellanos, and does he become an upgrade at the plate over Castellanos? And then what do we get out of Justin Crawford in center field? He's going to have every opportunity to play in center field. There's been a lot of buzz surrounding him, and we'll get to see if the buzz was warranted. So I would say at this point, um, I would say maybe about the same. It's, to me, it's really going to hinge upon what kind of Bryce Harper we get this year,
Right.
and what they get production wise from the outfield.
You know, what's going to happen, too? I mean, we obviously lost Ranger Suarez. He's going to the Red Sox now. Harrison Bader's heading out to the West Coast. They lost him. So Nick Castellanos, though, is still on the Phillies roster. What are they going to do with Nick Castellanos? Is he going to be off that roster here soon? Or what's going on with him? Also, Andrew Painter, he's going to be obviously taking Rangers' spot in the rotation. How effective do you think Andrew Painter will be in that rotation this year, too?
I think he's going to do a good job. He struggled a little bit. I think he had some growing pains in AAA last year once he was with the Iron Pigs. I still think he's going to be okay. I mean, they were high on him for a reason. I think they'll be okay starting pitching wise. I say that I'm kind of optimistic. Hopefully, obviously they need a big bounce back year from Aaron Nola, and
Yeah.
again, I guess there's some more question marks in terms of what kind of, what will Zach Wheeler look like as well. Coming off, I don't know if he's going to be ready to start the season or not. Probably not, would be my guess. They sort of retooled the bullpen a little bit. Again, they're counting on Jose Alvarado, I think, to play a prominent role. That's a little bit of a gamble. So, I mean, it's funny. There are a lot of things that you're not sure how they're going to break, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like if everything breaks one way, it could be a really good team. If everything breaks the other way, they could have some problems. I'm really intrigued by. I'm going to be intrigued to see what they look like coming out of the gates in April and May.
You know, I guess the question, too, I mean, the Phillies have a lot of depth in the outfield position. Of course, you got Justin Crawford, who will probably be the everyday center fielder until he proves otherwise there. At some point in time, if Garcia doesn't pan out, or even if Justin Crawford doesn't pan out, do we see Johan Rojas come up? But what if both those guys don't pan out? What if Garcia kind of doesn't have a season like the Phillies would like and doesn't get back to his form like he was a couple of years back? And what if Justin Crawford doesn't perform? Who do we bring up in that outfield then if we have 2 out of the 3 guys not performing in that outfield?
I think then you're looking at maybe some Johan Rojas. You're looking at Weston Wilson maybe playing some outfield.
No, Weston Wilson ain't there anymore, buddy. They got rid of
Oh,
Weston
that's
Wilson.
right.
He's done. He's gone.
Oh, where did? Oh, I totally missed that. Where did he go?
Weston Wilson is not there. I don't know where he went, but he is no longer a Philadelphia Philly.
Is he hiding somewhere? Is he?
No,
Are you sure about that?
but
He's not.
Weston
He's not. He's not. He's not underneath the.
Weston Wilson.
He's with the Orioles now.
Yep, Orioles. Just read it. Yep,
He's with the Orioles.
yep.
Okay. Are you sure? Are you sure he's not just hiding somewhere in the clubhouse and
No,
they just can't
he's hiding in
find him?
Baltimore. he's hiding in Baltimore right now.
Okay. He's hiding in their clubhouse. Okay.
He's with the bird.
Maybe they can find him.
Yeah, they
Okay.
might not be able to.
All right.
Philly sure couldn't.
Okay. All right. I totally missed that. See, I was just to see what happens. You take a week or two off. I'm
It's a
asleep at the
rusty
wheel.
start, but it's all right. We're getting there. We'll
It's
get
a
you
little
back
rusty.
in the flow here
Little
soon.
rusty.
We'll see what the Phillies do here. Spring training, of course, pitchers, catchers report next Thursday. Cannot wait for that here after, of course, the big game on Sunday. That means it's baseball season coming up here next week for a lot of folks here in Central PA for sure. Switching gears over to the National Hockey League, of course, the Metro Division. It's been an up and down year throughout from top to bottom, with the exception of course, the Carolina Hurricanes at the top, which have been there for quite a while here in that Metro Division throughout the season. The Caps just losing to the Flyers the other night. The Capitals continue to be kind of lopsided this season. They have their good games, they have their not so good games, and again against the Philadelphia Flyers, they had not such a good game against Philadelphia the other night.
Yeah, the Flyers needed a win in the worst way. I think if you're looking at it from a Caps perspective, certainly a disappointing result. They came in on a 3-game winning streak,
Yeah.
which included some good wins. They had a win over the Red Wings. a team that they had lost to in a home and home earlier in the season, both ends of a home and home. They get a win over the Hurricanes. They get a win over the Islanders. So all teams that they're chasing in the Eastern Conference, and certainly, obviously, the Hurricanes and Islanders they're chasing in the division. The Flyers came out probably a little more desperate at the start, but the Caps did, fight their way back. They're getting it done right now. At this point in the season, if you had said going into the Olympic break that their two goaltenders would be Clay Stevenson and Garen Bjorklund. That's not something that you would have predicted, would happen with LT and Lindgren both hurt. I
Right.
think they missed Connor McMichael. He's been out of the lineup now for a little bit. I guess they called up Triniev, right? They called up Bogey,
Yeah.
and he's done a nice job, but yeah, I think that win. I think they probably looked at the schedule and saw that they had the Flyers there, and based on how the Flyers are playing, I think they probably thought that was a game that they could certainly win. But again, from the Flyers' perspective, I mean, they really have to get something going. That was just their third win in their last 14 games.
Yeah.
Snapped, I guess it was a 5-game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken, 4-game losing streak. So they needed something to happen. But again, right now, both teams are on the outside of the playoff bubble. The Caps are 5 points out of that second wild card spot. The Flyers are, I believe it's 8 points out of that second playoff spot. Both teams play tonight. Both teams have one more game here before they break for the Winter Olympics. So I get the Flyers are home against Ottawa, and the Caps they've got the Preds, I think, tonight. Um, Certainly, I think it's definitely a winnable game for the Caps. The Flyers, who knows at this point the way they're playing. I don't think you can look at any game on their schedule as a one that you're like, oh well, I think they can win that. They're just they feel like they're out of gas right now.
Right.
The result on the other night aside, we'll see what happens going into the Olympic break.
Flyers and the Capitals both really needing that 2 points in that division, in that Metro division, and the Flyers, of course, came out on top. Talk a little bit about Washington, too, there, JT. I mean, not getting a lot of scoring this year from Ovechkin. Wilson was held in check, too, against the Flyers the other night. If those two guys don't perform, I mean, where else do they go? Obviously, Alexi Protas, he's been helping them out on the offensive side of things. They also had John Carlson now, the defensive guy that's been there for a number of years with the Capitals helping him out on the offensive side. But what direction can the Caps go here with getting some of that offense that they sorely miss and need?
Yeah, I think they're pretty, it's funny with their four lines, I think they're pretty balanced all the way through, but they just right now they don't have that one go-to guy. And I think it's a combination of, Ovechkin. I don't think he's at the point in his career where I don't think that's a guy that you can rely on. Tom Wilson, he's been in and out he's been banged up a couple of times this year, so he's kind of working his way back in. And then you've got, some of the other guys, some of their younger guys that have shown flashes of it, but maybe aren't quite ready yet to take the mantle. Talking about Protas and Ryan Leonard. Their strength is their depth on the blue line. That's really the anchor of their team, and of course their goaltending when they're completely healthy. Stevenson and Bjorklund, I think, have been holding down the fort, but I mean, if they're going to go anywhere and they're going to make any kind of push to get back into the playoff picture, it's going to have to be with, once Logan Thompson comes back.
Yeah, I'm not sure who returned, but Bjorklund's been sent back down to Hershey. Stevenson's still back up with them, but someone obviously is coming back. I don't know if it's, I would guess it's Logan Thompson that'll be back tonight because they did send Bjorklund back to Hershey here today in the transactions.
Okay, so Bjorklund is back.
Yep, Bjorklund's back in Hershey, yes.
I can try to check that out here, but I did see though that Pierre-Luc Dubois is back in the lineup now for the Capitals. That's a guy that really helped them, in their third and fourth lines as far as defensive responsibilities. Probably one of their better defensive forwards. So I think it'll be
Right.
good to have him back in the lineup. But yeah, I think that they've got to kind of weather some of this stuff a little bit. Um, So we'll see what happens. It looks like Logan Thompson is back. He is the one that's
Right.
back. Um, they've activated him and Pierre-Luc Dubois off of injured reserve, and Garen Bjorklund is headed back to Hershey, as you indicated. So there we go. We were just talking about the fact that they needed to get a little healthier in net, and Logan Thompson is back, so that's a huge step in that direction.
Of course, we got the Olympic break coming up. Talk about the Flyers here, JT, too. I guess it was sort of open mouth, insert foot for Rick Tocchet the other day, talking about Mitchkov and his play. Then Danny Briere had to do a little cover up work there in the press conference, but they've been struggling of late. What do you think the issues there are for Philadelphia right now?
Honestly, I think they don't have, I mean, we've talked about this before. I just don't think they have enough firepower. I think they've got a team, a lineup. First off, what they don't have, they have a real lack of depth at center. They don't have a lot of good difference makers at center. And then they have kind of a surplus of wings. And kind of, if you look at the collection of guys they have a couple of nice players that when they all kind of are rowing in the same direction, playing very structurally sound, playing hard, they can they can be in most games. They can kind of grind out wins, especially when Dan Vladar's in net.
Right.
Not so much when Sam Erson's in goal,
No.
but they tend to when they kind of lose their structure, they tend to really fall apart, especially back on defense. And I just think it's really a team made up of second, third, and fourth liners, and there really aren't a lot of guys that you can look at and say, that's a true first line threat. That's a guy that you really have to worry about. They've got some guys that can get streaky at times. Konechny's on a big roll lately. Owen Tippett has shown his ability to be hot. Trevor Zegras went through a big stretch, but he's kind of leveled off. And then there's just kind of this cloud surrounding Matvei Michkov and what appears to be some sort of feud of some sort with Rick
Right.
Tocchet. There's been a lot of noise around that. It kind of really came to a head last weekend. The Flyers held their charities carnival, and a lot of the podcasts that cover the Flyers were there covering the carnival, and they were able to get some access. They got Rick Tocchet on, and they got Keith Jones, the president of hockey operations, on there as well. And naturally, because the Flyers are struggling, they were going to get questions about, the struggles of the team.
Yeah.
And one of the hosts asked Rick Tocchet about Matvei Michkov. And again, he kind of really was harping on the fact that he came in out of shape. And, I feel like we're late enough into the season that we shouldn't still be hearing about that. And I think it really touched a nerve with the Flyers fan base. And Rick Tocchet is not too popular right now. I think because they feel like he has an axe to grind when it comes to Michkov. You kind of hear it a lot in his comments. And I think Flyers fans are a little defensive when it comes to Michkov, and rightfully so, because they look at him as a future star.
Yeah.
And they don't want to see a situation where maybe Michkov gets a little disheartened and disgruntled and decides that he doesn't want to play for the Flyers anymore. So I think Flyers fans are really kind of on defense when it comes to the relationship between Tocchet and Michkov. And, you could say that it was blown out of proportion, but look, it must have been a big enough deal for Danny Briere to
Yeah.
decide that he was going to meet with the media before the game the other night
And
and,
straighten it out.
try to quell all the noise and say, look, despite everything that's out there, he said, let me make it clear, Matvei Michkov is not going anywhere. So hopefully that puts some of this stuff to rest. But I don't know. It almost seems like him and Tocchet got off on the wrong foot, and Michkov has not been able to, I don't know, get back in Tocchet's good graces. Whether there's been some other things that have happened since training camp, but it appears that Michkov rubs Rick Tocchet the wrong way. That's from the outside looking in, having no extra insight or any kind of any special insight. That's just kind of how it looks as a fan to me from the outside.
Yeah, and looking at it too from Rick Tockett's perspective too. I mean, he was a rough and tough guy back in his playing days, and if you're a guy like Mitchkov that has all this praise, has this all high talent that he should be playing at this type of level during the NHL season, and like you said, he comes in not in shape first of all, which is hard to even fathom with a player that's in the NHL and a guy of his caliber not in shape and ready to go here for the NHL season. And you're almost more than halfway through here that NHL season, just about to get to. The guy has got to up his level of playing, and I'm sure that's what Rick Tocchet is looking for from him.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe if anything, Tocchet was probably maybe he was excited about the prospect of coaching Michkov because of what he did last year as a rookie.
Yeah, the high
And
praise.
maybe the fact that he came in out of shape for whatever reason. I think Taka was really disappointed in what happened, but I don't know. It just seems like there's still something there. The relationship seems a little icy, for lack of a better term, and we'll see what happens. Maybe this Olympic break will will be a reset for everyone involved, and we'll see if maybe some better things for the Flyers coming forward after the Olympic break, which I guess their next game now after tonight wouldn't be until
The
right at the end of the
25th.
month on the
Yeah.
on the 25th. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we can call this Mitchkov and Rick Tocchet feud right now on simmer, as long as it doesn't get to the boiling point there in Philadelphia. It hopefully can not rear its ugly head here as the season goes on, because the Flyers don't need any more issues as we go along in that season. Pittsburgh Penguins, how about them? They've been on fire here of late, JT. Now it's second place in that Metro division. Last two games, though, struggling a little bit. Lost their last two games, of course. The past two games to the Senators and also to the Islanders. That was just on the road. Talk about their performance here of late. Been playing very, very good hockey and consistent hockey for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they were a team that we talked about early that really seemed like they were, of all the teams that we look at, and of all the teams in the Metro Division, I think they are the biggest surprise
Yeah.
out of anyone. I think if you had asked a lot of NHL analysts before the season, and they were kind of trying to kind of maybe handicap the Metro Division, I don't think the Penguins are a team that many people were talking about. Certainly the Hurricanes, I would think was a team, even a team like the Caps. You look at the Devils, the Islander. I think the Islanders are also been a huge surprise as well. But yeah, the Penguins have really been on a roll. I think they kind of they worked through some early season injuries. They kind of found a new identity. Dan Hughes has done a fantastic job. I really feel like I don't know when they announce the finalists for all the postseason awards or the season awards. I really think Dan Hughes should be a candidate for Coach of the Year. Um,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I really think he deserves it. I think it seems like he's been a breath of fresh air for them. Like we said, they were really on a roll there. They had won 6 straight. Now they did stumble a little last two games, a couple of 1-goal losses. I don't think they. It wasn't like they played that bad in those two games. They certainly were there for the taking. I think the one that really kind of sticks in their craw and probably sticks in Penguins fans' craw was the loss to the Islanders, especially because that's a team uh that they've been going back and forth with. Um they had, I think they had three different 1-goal leads in that game. They
Yeah.
even had a 4-3 lead in the third period. The Islanders tied it up. I think the Penguins actually scored a go-ahead goal in that game, and then it was
Yep.
disallowed, and then they ended up losing in overtime. The Senators game, that was back and forth as well. There was a controversial goal late in the third period there by Claude Giroux that gave Ottawa the win. Um, but overall, I mean, you really have to like what they're doing. They got Brian Rust back the other night after he finished up serving that 3-game suspension. Um, I think the only thing that's really kind of hurting them right now is that, as good as they can look, moving the puck and carrying play with their puck possession, they still tend to to make a lot of turnovers. Especially defensively, they a lot of costly mistakes and turnovers. That's what really hurt them against the Islanders. They could certainly use Chris Letang back in the lineup. I think he
Oh,
would,
yeah.
maybe stabilize things a little bit. Their goaltending has been an issue as well. Stuart Skinner was kind of okay the other night. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either. I think maybe a better effort in goal, they might end up winning that game against the Islanders. So we'll see. They've got an interesting game tonight. They're in Buffalo tonight against the Sabres. Sabres are also an interesting team. They've caught fire ever since they fired their general manager. They've worked their way up the Atlantic Division standings. I think they're third or fourth, if I'm not mistaken. So it's two teams that are surging in the right direction. So definitely a key game for the Penguins here, their final tune-up before the Olympic break.
Yeah, puck control has been an issue here the past two games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But right before we did our last podcast there too, JT, I wanted to look up this stat because it was quite interesting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Every time that Crosby or Malkin gets a point in a game, you know what the percentage is of the Pittsburgh Penguins actually winning that game when they have a point in a game? What it is?
What's their winning percentage overall? Or
yeah, with Malkin and Crosby getting a point in a game, what is their winning percentage to win those games?
0.935.
Yep, you're close. Well, you're close. You're close. It's over 87% of the time they win those games when Malkin or Crosby get at least 1 point in a game. Obviously, that didn't happen against the Islanders the other night because Crosby, I believe, had an assist in that game. But it is pretty incredible. Those two guys at the age that they're at, they keep ticking. And when they get a point in a game, man, it's almost automatic that the Penguins are going to win that game, too.
What was the percentage? What was the answer again?
Over 87% of the time, the Penguins win.
Oh, 87%. Wow, that's pretty good. I guess I overshot it a little bit, but still, that's still pretty. That's still
it is pretty incredible. Of course, we got the Olympic break that's coming up here after the games tonight. Correct? Then we have the Olympic break.
Yeah. We got. I think the opening ceremonies are for the entire Olympics are tomorrow. I think they start tomorrow, but I don't know when the hockey starts. I'll certainly be tuning in. I love watching Olympic hockey, especially with how global the game has become. There are so many countries now that you can find a handful of NHL players on there, so it always makes for an intriguing tournament. Obviously, we'll be watching the U.S., obviously Canada as well.
I'm not sure exactly when the hockey will begin, but I'm sure here over the weekend we'll see some hockey in the Olympics as well. Switching gears to the AHL, the Bears still kind of up and down. Season continues, fourth in the Atlantic Division. They still can't beat the teams that are above them, like they just lost, struggling all season long against the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, 1-5-0-1 against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins this season. They did win in overtime last Saturday against the Comets. But that up and down season just continues here for the Hershey Bears.
Yeah, they had the road trip there. I think it was ended up, if you include last night's game, a 4-game road trip. They got the split in Rochester. They were able to find a way to win that game in Utica. Last night it was like they were right there. I mean, it was a scoreless game going into the third period. It was a 1-1 game. I think Cruikshank's goal was the one that tied it up. But man, oh man, they really kind of ran out of gas, it seemed like, in that third period. And they were actually out shooting after 2 periods. They actually were out shooting Wilkes-Barre Scranton 26-16. And wow. I think Wilkes-Barre Scranton outshot the Bears 13-3 in the third period. Now, that doesn't always tell the whole story. But I mean, you look at the fact that the Bears were able to get a tying goal from Cruikshank, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know if the go-ahead goal there by Wilkes-Barre Scranton sort of deflated Hershey a little bit because then they gave up 2 more. They're unfortunately this year there's a big disparity. Like we've talked about before, in that division, you've got Providence and Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and then you kind of got that second tier and everybody else.
Rest of the mix.
And the Bears are in that. Yeah, the Bears are in that second tier. I guess Charlotte's been pretty hot lately. They're kind of trying to push into that upper tier, but right now it's like Charlotte, Lehigh Valley, and Hershey and Hartford a little bit as well. Kind of, trying to battle out for those last couple spots. But yeah, it's like they really can't solve Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and they really honestly, the last couple of outings, they haven't really come that close to beating them either. And then we'll see. They get another shot at them
Saturday night.
Saturday night, but this time at Giant Center.
Yeah, Cruikshank's been playing pretty well for the Hershey Bears. He's been pretty much one of the bright spots here. But of course, that goal last night didn't come till the third period. Then, of course, the Penguins scored 4 goals in the third period last night. Goalies may be a little bit of an issue. Mitch Gibson was in goal. He's been pretty decent all season long, getting Bjorklund back. Hopefully, that helps the Hershey Bears here this upcoming weekend. We'll see what happens. But Clay Stevenson might be up with the Caps for quite a while here yet this season.
Yeah, I think especially now in a backup role, and now with Logan Thompson back, I'm sure Stevenson will slide into that backup role. So I don't know how long Charlie Lindgren's going to be out, but Stevenson has done a nice job for the Bears this year, and I'm sure they would like to have him down in Hershey. But they're going to have to go with what they have right now until the Caps get a little healthier.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see what Clay Stevenson has done in those first 3 games, actually. I mean, he didn't play that bad against Philadelphia in that game, but winning his first 2 NHL games in just as many starts. Pretty incredible. That's always what you want to see when the Hershey Bears guys go up there with the big boys in the NHL. Switching gears over to the National Basketball Association, our Philadelphia 76ers are on fire right now, JT. 5 straight wins. They're rolling right along, and they had a trade as well, which may not have come as a surprise for some folks, but the Sixers are on a roll right now.
Yeah, they're off to they won their last 2 before heading off on their West Coast road trip. They started off, they got the wins over the Clippers and Golden State. Big game tonight against the Lakers. Yeah, the Jared McCain trade, a little bit of a surprise. I didn't think they were going to trade him, although it just never seemed like he got on track, and I think he just kind of lost his spot. I mean, he got hurt, late last year, and then he got hurt in the off season, and once he came back, it took him a while to kind of get things going. He was getting some big minutes, but it was just like as the season wore on, it didn't seem like Nick Nurse had a lot of confidence in him. Maybe it was something matchup wise, but I think they like, the 3-guard rotation they have with Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and Quentin Grimes. I think that was the 3-guard rotation that they're looking at moving forward. And you could just see, especially the last couple of weeks, there just didn't seem to be a lot of minutes for him coming off the bench. So we'll see. I mean, they get a first-round draft pick in return. It's going to be a late first-round pick because it's going to be Houston's pick. They probably weren't going to have a first-round pick this year as it was because their pick is only top 9 protected, I believe. So if it falls outside the top 9, that pick conveys to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So at least look at it this way: they're going to get a first-round pick. Now, where they end up picking, if that player, the chances of that player turning out to be better than Jared McCain, obviously we'll have to wait and see.
King, of course, the 16th overall pick, 2024 draft. He was only averaging 10 points a game. Also, the other big news, too, which we didn't get to, Paul George getting suspended for the, 25 games there for taking an illegal substance as well. How do you think that's going to affect the Sixers here down the stretch, JT? I mean, they've been playing pretty well. I mean, as long as Maxey puts up the points that he's expected to put up, Edgecombe, he's hit or miss throughout the season, but when he is hot, he is hot. And of course, when you throw Embiid in there, they've been playing pretty well. But without Paul George, you think that's going to affect them going down the road here?
Well, I think it's going to affect them somewhat. I mean, I know he doesn't score quite as much as he used to, although he has had some flashes. But he also is still, even at his age, at this stage of his career, I still think he's a pretty elite defender. And so I think they'll miss that certainly. When they start to play some of these better teams, they could certainly use a player like him tonight against the Lakers. I would love to see them pick up another win on this road trip. So they've got the Lakers tonight. They've got the Phoenix Suns on Saturday night, and then they're at Portland on Monday night to finish up the road trip. If they can go 3-2 on this trip, I have to consider that a success. So I think tonight, is the key swing game against the Lakers. It's a team with a little bit better of a record. I think they're getting healthy as well. They're getting Austin Reeves back real soon. Obviously, going against Luka Doncic, that's going to be a
Big
matchup
matchup.
issue. We'll
Yeah.
we'll see what they do. So Embiid played on Monday night in LA against the Clippers, played really well. The back-to-back on Tuesday in Golden State, he didn't play. I would expect him to play tonight. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be past my bedtime, pal.
Yeah, I'll stay up for a little bit of it, maybe the first quarter, but they've been pretty exciting. I mean, been again having their woes here, and sometimes the third quarter, fourth quarter, man, they've been just coming right back in the fourth quarter of the past couple of games. But it was good to see the other night against the Warriors, all starting five were in double figures in points. So we'll see. Oubre's been playing pretty well since he's been back now. Watford had a
Yeah.
pretty decent game the other night, but again, as we've been saying all season long, JT. What is it? They're an exciting team to watch, right?
They are an exciting team to watch. I will not I will stick by that. No, win or lose, they're a team I can tune in and watch, and I'm entertained watching them. I mean, sometimes they do some things that drive you nuts, but
Yeah.
there's going to be some games that they don't play very well, but they play hard and they play a pretty exciting brand of basketball. And so far it's they've worked their way. I think they're sixth right now in the Eastern Conference, but they're only like a half a game or a game or so out of that fourth spot. So there's still some room for them to move up the Eastern Conference standings.
Yeah, for the most part, all season long. I mean, they've only gotten blown out maybe 2 or 3 times this season. For the most
Right.
part, they've been in all the games that they played here so far in the NBA season. Let's get over to the NFL. Of course, the big game's coming up this Sunday. We'll get to that here shortly, but some news, of course, with the Philadelphia Eagles, the gentleman that's behind you on your wallpaper. Ah, man, hate to see him go. Stout is out, going maybe somewhere else, maybe retiring. Nobody knows, but we have a new offensive coordinator now in Sean Mannion from, of course, the Green Bay Packers. Your thoughts on both of those? A lot of shakeup here in the coaching staff for the Eagles next season.
Well, I think there's, I don't know if it seems like there was some issue there with, not only was Stoutland the offensive line coach, he also had become the run game coordinator, and that was something that it sounds like they took away from him during the season. I think he felt like his voice wasn't being heard with certain things, and it sounds like he got a little frustrated, and he decided that now was the time to kind of step away. I think he's going to take some time off. I think the Eagles are expecting, or at least hopeful, that he's still going to be part of the organization in some capacity,
We hope.
maybe
Yeah.
with some kind of advisory role. But when you look at what he has done with the Eagles offensive line since, remember he was brought on by Chip Kelly,
Oh, yeah.
and the Eagles have thought high enough of him that he was retained through Doug Peterson and again with Nick Sirianni. I'm sure there's going to be some teams out there that look at the job that he did with Stoutland University and what he did with Jordan Mailata and what he was able to get out of a guy like Evan Mathis and last year with Mekhi Becton. I think there would a team that there's teams out there that would call him and say, "We'd love for you to
Oh,
come
yeah.
and do your thing with our team." So it's a shame. It's a little unsettling with this coaching staff when you look at the fact that with Stoutland now stepping away, you've heard that you look like Vic Fangio was seriously
Maybe retiring.
contemplating retirement. You had all those issues with the offensive coordinator last year. Um,
So-
you'd like to see things a little more settled with this coaching staff. So we'll see how this plays out here throughout the off season.
You mentioned one of my favorite coaches of all time with the Philadelphia Eagles, Chip Kelly, man. Just, hits a nerve. Hits a nerve every time.
Big chip guy, huh? Big chip guy.
Not
Big-
so much.
yeah.
Not
Oh,
so much.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on Sean Mannion? Okay, the guy's never called a play on the offensive side of things. Again, we're getting a guy that is kind of new to this whole type of offense, but yet he's got all this talent. He's got all this hype. He could very well down the road. A lot of folks in Green Bay think he has head coaching material, but what is going to happen here with the Sean Mannion taking this offensive coordinator position with the Eagles? I mean, if he has a lights out season and a very good season with the Philadelphia Eagles, he could be hired as a head coach at the end of this season. So it's not going to be a long-term hire possibly for the Eagles. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think that's that when we had talked about the Eagles getting rid of Kevin Patullo, we were thinking, well, maybe they'll bring in some kind of veteran offensive coordinator
Yeah,
that
long-term guy.
that has a good track record. So this isn't a situation where they have to worry about losing this guy because that's kind of what this feels like. That he as a quarterback, as a backup quarterback, he played for a lot of good head coaches. He played, with like Sean McVay is one name that comes to mind. He's had some really, really good influences again for guys that he's coached with, and for coaches that he's played for. Boy, it's like if he comes in and really revamps this offense, I'm sure it's not going to take long for another team to kind of really look at him and consider him as a head coach. Now, from what I understand, he brings his roots are in the West Coast offense. So that's kind of what I guess the kind of what we're gonna have to look forward to
Right.
coming up this season. More of a West Coast offense. We'll see what that looks like, and we'll see how that kind of molds with the strengths of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, man. I hope this is a long-term hire for the Eagles, but looking at it, man, it's kind of hit or miss here this upcoming season. If he has a good season, he could be gone by the end of the year, and I really think we absolutely need somebody that's not only a veteran of the offensive side of things, and they needed to get somebody in there, but they didn't do it here in the offseason. So more to come with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see what happens there. Of course, let's switch gears.
Well,
While we're in,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. What if I told you?
uh-oh.
What if I told you that it is a long term hire?
I'd be happy. I mean, he's got all the talent. I mean, what you heard in Green Bay from everybody that was associated with Mannion and everything that he's been doing in Green Bay, albeit, what was he there, a season or two in Green Bay? But, I mean, he's got all the tools. His head's in the right place, but we got to see how he does with that play calling, man. He's got to be able to adjust when the team's down, and that's one thing, you didn't see from our previous offensive coordinator. There was no adjusting, and there's got to be some type of adjustments made, whether it be at halftime in the first quarter, if you're down, if you're up, those adjustments need to be made, and hopefully Sean Mannion is the right guy to make those adjustments.
What if he's a long-term hire in the sense that if he does a really good job and he is really revamps this offense, what if he's the guy, what if he's the heir apparent when the Eagles organization has grown tired of Nick Sirianni?
Good call. I don't know.
What do you think?
So what happens? So let's just put this out there. So Eagles come in this season again, come out on fire like they did this year. And then they lose, 6-7 games in a row. Sirianni gets fired. You still got Mannion there, but he's doing an incredible job with Jalen Hurts. He loves, his offense. He loves what he's doing with it. And what happens at the end of the year? That is an interesting point, JT. Do they then promote him to the head coaching position?
Well, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Just
I know, but
throwing
that's a
that
great
against the
point. I
wall.
mean, it's not out of the realm that it could happen. Say he has a great season, on the offensive side, and Nick Sirianni, who, whether or not he's on a short leash, who knows, with the ownership there of the Philadelphia Eagles. But I don't know. That is an intriguing question to be responded in when we start the season next year. What do you think?
Well, I think
What are
it's
your
something to
thoughts?
I think it's something to keep an eye on. I think, I Nick Sirianni still has some cred here,
Oh yeah,
especially if they. I mean, it's a catch-22. I mean, if they do really well and they go pretty far and they make another run at the Super Bowl, I guess they're not going to get rid of Nick Sirianni. So then maybe it would be a situation where Mannion would. Um, but I just kind of wonder if that's not in the back of
yeah.
the Eagles' mind if things start to go south with Sirianni and they see something in Sean Mannion here, if they would kind of make a move to do that. You do, promote from within, kind of like what the Bills did, moving on from Sean McDermott and
Right.
promoting Joe Brady to be the head coach.
All that sports knowledge that you need, we get it from JT. That's why we got him here on the podcast on Broad Street and beyond, man. How about the inside on the Super Bowl coming up here on Sunday, man? What's your prediction between Seattle and New England? Who gets the win? Do you care at all? I have no vested interest in this game, but we'll see what happens with the game on Sunday.
I mean, I don't really have a vested interest. I'm not particularly excited about this Super Bowl, but I'm still going to watch it because it's the Super Bowl. Like, I don't care who it is every year. Even if I'm not particularly excited about the matchup itself, I'm still going to watch because that's just, I love the Super Bowl. But I mean, I'm leaning towards the Seahawks right now. I think um, I really like the way their defense is playing. I think they're really, really aggressive. I think they have the type of defense that can really affect the game.
Right.
And I think they have a little more offensively. I guess there's some question marks on the Patriots side with Drake May and his shoulder. Is it going to be 100% for the game on Sunday? There's what kind of Sam Darnold do you get? But I don't know. My gut is telling me the Seahawks. I think they're a 4.5-point favorite. The Patriots have the type of defense though that they can stay in the game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch. But I could see the Seahawks winning by like a touchdown or less.
It seems like a perfect opportunity that you're picking the Seattle Seahawks for me to take the New England Patriots in this one and do a double or nothing smash burger bet, since I still owe you one. It's
we'll
been a while, but I still owe you one.
Well, we'll do a smash burger bet, but we're not doing it.
Not double or nothing?
No.
Can't get out of it in any sort of way?
You pay your debt, and then so we're betting a smash burger?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Second smash burger. Let's do it. You're taking Seattle. I got New England.
Just straight up, right?
Straight up.
Nothing with the spread or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm in. All right, now you got to tell me what's going to be on your spread here for the Super Bowl on Sunday as far as food is concerned.
Probably just some pizza, actually.
Yeah, no wings? Not throwing wings in there?
Maybe some wings. Yeah,
okay.
I don't. Yeah, but definitely pizza. I've always been a pizza guy at the Super Bowl. Maybe some buffalo. I know. Maybe a little buffalo chicken dip.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, I love the buffalo chicken dip at the Super Bowl with the scoops.
Yeah,
you get those scoops going. Oh yeah.
My wife always makes these incredible. We call them the little smokies. They're like these little hot dogs.
Oh yeah,
pot,
absolutely.
And she puts like some sort of sauce with. Oh god, they're so good. Hopefully we have them on Sunday. We'll have quite the spread. You're always invited to my house, JT. So whenever you want to stop in, stop on in, buddy.
What time am I expected?
As early as you want. The pregame will start at probably 10 o'clock in the morning, so we'll get it going early.
I'll be over for breakfast.
Yeah, we'll get it going early. Hey, let's wrap this up, though, with some interesting news out of Penn State, of course. We'll touch on some Penn State hockey for you. Just had the outdoor game this past weekend. Pretty incredible at Beaver Stadium. 75,000 plus jamming Beaver Stadium for an outdoor hockey game. It was quite cold between Penn State and Michigan State, but, of course, all the action pretty much happening after that game. Gavin McKenna of Penn State, of course, now being arrested in an alleged incident up there in State College after that outdoor game. I'm sure you saw it. He's got a preliminary hearing that's scheduled now for February the 11th. If he is convicted, he could face 20 years in prison. I don't see that happening to a student athlete of his level.
I don't either.
But your thoughts on not only the outdoor game, maybe it's a thing to the NHL outdoor classic between the Penguins and the Flyers, but pretty incredible to watch. And of course, talk about the McKenna situation up there at Happy Valley.
Yeah, that was really, I watched a little of that. That was pretty cool to see. And, that's something that as hockey fans, we have talked about for a long time about how great it would be if the Flyers and the Penguins could play a game at Beaver Stadium, right in the two teams on either end of the state meeting right in the middle. What they got 60,000 there for that men's game over the weekend. I would think they would easily fill that stadium for a Flyers Penguins game. I think that would be an epic event, an epic spectacle. As far as the Gavin McKenna thing, that's really an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
You can't you can't do what he allegedly did. But when you get into the details of what happened, I mean, allegedly the kid that he hit was harassing Gavin McKenna's mom, and then the alleged incident happened outside the bar, where he allegedly punched him right in the jaw and knocked him out. Um, it's an unfortunate situation. I hope, man, I hope there's some leniency there. I'd hate to see that kid's future just kind of go up in smoke,
Right.
because of an unfortunate situation. I mean, I think he was, the kid was sticking up for his mom, and he was doing the honorable thing, and I think a lot of us would do the same thing if we were in his shoes. Um, so I hope, I'm hoping the best for him. I don't know what this does for him as far as, he was obviously considered to be, um,
Number one
if
pick.
not the number one overall pick, right there in the top two or three, for the draft this summer. Here's a kid that wanted to go to school just 1 year and kind of play some hockey and get ready for his pro career. So, man, I really hope everything works out.
Yeah, two sides to every story. We still have yet to hear the other side of it, which is obviously the McKenna story of how it all, but he's getting charged with felony, aggravated assault, misdemeanor, simple assault, as well as summary counts of harassment and disorderly conduct. Owenward State, if you follow them over on Facebook, just put out, too, that a $20,000 bail has been posted for Gavin McKenna Wednesday evening. That was put on, and then he's going to face the preliminary hearing, I guess, coming up here on February the 11th. Hoping for good news for Penn State hockey. They've been playing pretty well, obviously, this season when Gavin McKenna has been their number one star, obviously, going forward. But hoping, but nothing but the best here for Gavin McKenna. Again, two sides to every story, and we'll see how that officially plays out here, which we'll hear the rest of the story here probably in the next couple of days, I'm sure.
Sure.
All right, JT, that's going to wrap this up, man. Broad Street and Beyond back in full effect. Of course, the podcast, just make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We got some great upcoming guests here in the next couple of weeks that once we confirm them, we'll tell you all about them over on social media, but it's always a blast sitting down with you, JT, and talking sports, buddy.
So we can't talk about the fact that we've got the cast of Stranger Things coming on the pod,
You had to leak it out, didn't you? You had to leak it out.
Taylor
No.
Swift. We're not allowed to
No
say
Taylor
that either.
Swift. No, we're never
Okay.
going to get to that level, JT. But unless you got the connections that you do to the Kelsey Bros, maybe we can make that happen.
I'll do my best. I'll make calls.
Okay.
I'll probably get hung up on, but I'll
Yeah.
at least make the call.
Make some calls and make sure you have your checkbook ready to go to and your credit cards to get Taylor Swift on the show as well.
Yes,
because I'm sure it won't be free. So,
this is
all
true.
right, everybody, enjoy the sports. JT, as always, man. Always love sitting down with you. Tune in to the latest podcast of Broad Street and Beyond over there on YouTube. Just make sure, like we said, like, subscribe, and also tell all your friends about us here at Broad Street and Beyond. Until next week, JT, enjoy the sports.
Adios, man. Go Seahawks.
Go Pats.